Hi Sagittarius, happy birthday and welcome to your reading and welcome to the end of the year, or as I've been calling it, the beginning of 2020. So, what a year it's been. What a month it was. Having a Mercury retrograde in your 12th house while the sun was also there could not have been easy. Here's my concern. My concern is that Jupiter continues to bring you good luck, but you can very easily right now get stuck in what you wanted that Jupiter didn't give you. It's a great time to make the same mistake again, to stay stuck in a past that can't give you anything, that doesn't want you, but you swear somehow that you can make it work. If you don't do that, there is so much available to you. Woo! Woo! Like I was saying, so Six of Swords and the Temperance card. Again, happy birthday. So what is the Six of Swords and what does it lead you to? Six of Swords is exactly what I was just talking about. Whoever is leaving with the Six Swords has done away with at least four. That's why they've been able to get up and get out. If you keep the four, you stay where you are. If you leave Six of Swords, you find yourself, you choose yourself, Temperance, not your ego, but yourself, then long, prosperous road ahead it is. Beautiful. Wonderful. Exactly what we want. Exactly what we want in a birthday reading, but also exactly what we want in terms of the very positive, productive, non-toxic message that it is important for you to receive and absorb. And remember, when you start to make that, at this point, just sentimental and stupid decision to harp on something from the past, that you must, Six of Swords, move forward, Temperance towards yourself, Wheel of Fortune, Ten of Wands. I think we know what those two are. For those of you who are new, welcome to the revolution. Wheel of Fortune and Ten of Wands is about as good as it gets. Now, for those of you who are cross-watching, and some Sagittarius has got you really fucked up, I can understand that. They have a lot of work stuff coming up that's going to make it a little bit difficult to pay attention to you. You may read that as this person doesn't care, but I don't really think that's it. I think they're just trying to manage all the good luck that now moves into their house of work. So it's a weird kind of good luck. It will not immediately look like good luck, and that is going to scare them. And if you're around, they'll definitely take it out on you. Okay, back to you guys. If someone's around, try not to take it out on them. It's not their fault that now Wheel of Fortune, Ten of Wands, Jupiter moves into your house of work. And it's a funny move because it's Capricorn. So if you want to keep making old mistakes, it's going to hold your money. You're not allowed to make the same mistakes over and over again. No way. Okay, interesting. Let's see. Bottom of the deck here is the Four of Swords. In total agreement with that. And then we have the Emperor, the Hermit, Eight of Swords, and the Seven of Wands. It is very much about the self. Of course, it could be an Aries and a Virgo, or Aries and or a Virgo, but to me, that's just the outer, and then the inner self. And what you will be able to achieve, which is you fix your external relationships to help fix your internal relationships, because it works both ways. So your house is a reflection of your mind is a reflection of your house. In the same way, you can work this on both ends. You can remove what is toxic from your surroundings, and it will therefore remove a lot of, or at least bring to the forefront, so you can remove a lot of what is toxic in here. And by toxic at this point, I really just mean something that doesn't work for you, no matter if in and of itself the thing is good or bad, is irrelevant. It doesn't work for you. It doesn't bring you anything. It doesn't bring you happiness. It doesn't bring you anything but pain. And there will be no forward movement with that thing. And if you try to push that thing, especially with someone who has Virgo placements or Aries placements, you're just going to needlessly suffer, because this is where you're going anyway. So, the road there can either be filled with a lot of insight and overcoming quite a few self-defeating beliefs and feeling the outcome of that, in terms of your ability to manifest, or chasing affirmation from a person or a few people or a job or a parent or a friendship or something that is unnecessary and not fair to you, and the pursuit of which leads to feeling, as it always does, very isolated and misunderstood. And we don't want that. So it's very, very important for you now to Emperor, focus on your ego. Of course, you're allowed. Of course, you're allowed. And also, not just focus on your ego, but also on your soul. You're allowed to take a rest and really look inside and not make the same mistakes, not because you're scared and you don't want to and I don't know what's going to happen, but because you understand what's best for you and you want to do what's best for you. You want to be the best version of yourself to you. It's a really beautiful sentiment to want to be really good to yourself and kind to yourself and nurture yourself and love yourself, perhaps in a way that you weren't loved, And that starts with being accepting and being honest. And a big part of being accepting and honest is to really do away with the connections in your life that aren't based on acceptance and honesty, and that honesty, it can be both ways. It doesn't mean that person is being dishonest with you or you're being dishonest with them. You may be dishonest with yourself about the entire thing. It doesn't matter what iteration it is. It's about recognizing what is best for you and leaving things behind so you can walk into just a windfall of abundance, but an abundance that requires discipline, an abundance that wants you to keep your receipts, an abundance that wants to make sure that you've learned your lesson. So when even more comes in, you'll be able to handle it and not self-destruct. Let's look at it. Happy birthday. Love you. Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to the second part of your reading. It is the holiday formerly known as Thanksgiving. Currently and forever forward known as Indigenous Day. Remembrance of the Indigenous Day. But here we are. I've left the window open. There is a tarp blowing outside the window, and I can't help but see the symbolism. The winds of change are blowing really hard right now. Throughout, I will be drinking some water, and I suggest you do the same. As we get further and further into the darkness, it gets drier and drier. And the Gemini-Sagittarius axis can dehydrate very easily because we are so mobile. So, once again, happy birthday. And congrats on making it through this Jupiter transit. Perhaps there are not many people who can commiserate or empathize. But being really lucky can, in its own way, be a lot of pressure. Because when you know that anything you touch will turn to gold, don't you just feel guilty all the time when you're not touching? You know, when you know it'll work out if you put the work in, but maybe you don't feel like working. Maybe you really need a rest. I'm going to drink something. That brings me to my point. The beginning of the reading is about rest, and so is the end. Six of Swords is its own kind of rest. I think that's why it's interesting that the woman is, or the figure is kind of, covered and then bent over, and someone else is now doing the heavy lifting of getting them across. There's a relief in the posture. Finally, something that was so incredibly painful has been processed enough to be left behind. Now, for some of you, this also very clearly can mean that someone left you. But we see here how that's the best thing that could have happened. And maybe you knew that too. Maybe instinctively you knew that. Regardless, we're here now. And whatever your version of the Six of Swords was, it brought you to yourself. And the you that it brought you to is the one that has been in the presence of great good fortune for a little bit now. And look at everything Jupiter leaves you with. There couldn't be actually a more perfect reading for you for your birthday. I'm actually so elated at the way the cards came out. I think you can see it in my face in the first part. There's just such a magic to it being your season and your card and your Jupiter transit, and just how poetically the cards lay out what Jupiter has left you with, because the Emperor and the Hermit are, as good as it's going to get in terms of understanding oneself and still living and being in the world. And being in the world how? As the fire that you are. By the time the fire gets to you, it is Aries fire that's transmuted through Leo, and then it gets to you. And here in the Emperor, I see a hearkening back to that original flame. Whatever has left you, Sagittarius, it has opened the door, or the thing that left may in and of itself be the one that opened the door to such a bright future. And so although the planet leaves, the luck stays. With new bonuses, like the Hermit. So you're not just crushing it out there in the world and exerting your will and producing and living and thriving. You're also left with such a better understanding of who you are. Through the ups and downs of this transit, you have learned so much about the depths of loneliness and also the height of hard-won success. And I think the cards are very accurate when they say, take a rest. Watch what you put all this work into come to fruition. If you don't rest, you will get very hard to deal with. and you will push situations that you should not push, situations that you cannot push. Sure. Next month? Yes, of course. Of course. And we'll talk about it more in the extended, because I'm going to shuffle through. I'm going to clarify some of the cards, and then I'm going to take everything up and do a mid-December into early January reading in the extended. So you get that New Year's reading. But it's obvious that this is not going to work. And why should you have to do any more work right now? Dumb question, but haven't you earned that? Again, I can't state enough how happy I am with the reading. Now, if you're dealing with an Aries or a Virgo or another Sag, that's another thing. If you're cross-watching and you're an Aries or a Virgo, or, well, you're not cross-watching if you're a Sag, but if you're thinking about the other Sag, this would be a very good time to reach out to them. Because life as the angel of temperance is not always as easy as it looks. The angel has one foot on earth and the other in the water, in the celestial waters. It is a hard balance. And they have progressed. There's a lot of impressive progress here. And so if you feel something for them, or if you want something from them, there is a time and a place to ask, and it's not now. Right now, the best thing that you can do for them is just ask them what they need. And maybe they don't need anything. Maybe that's all they need. I've noticed that fire signs really only need you to ask. They don't actually need you to do anything. They can do all for themselves. It's the sentiment they need. They need to know you care, and that you would do if you had to, if it was needed. Okay, Sag. Let's go right into the extended. I love you guys so much. Happy birthday. See you in a second.